didn't just find this video found you. And no, that's not some poetic metaphor. It's quantum alignment in real time. You see, moments like this don't happen randomly in a universe governed by vibration, frequency, and resonance. Nothing is accidental. There's a version of you, maybe buried beneath years of doubt, fear, or noise, that's always been searching, yearning, waiting for something to finally resonate, not with your mind, but with your entire being. And then, suddenly, out of nowhere, this appeared. This exact message, at this exact point in your journey. Pause and think about that. Among billions of videos, billions of choices, infinite scrolling, you landed here. Why? Because you're not who you used to be. Something inside you is changing. A quiet knowing has started to wake up. The version of you that once felt disconnected, unseen, unsure, is now beginning to remember. And that memory is not of the past, it's of your truth. A truth that lives beyond time, right now. Your entire timeline is bending, collapsing inward, creating a precise opening for one message to reach you. You're ready. Not because you've done enough, not because you've figured everything out, but because the frequency of your being finally matches. The real Lattice once believed was out of reach. This isn't just a video, it's a portal, a gateway into a new state of awareness. One you've been brushing up against in dreams, in synchronicities, in those strange moments when reality didn't feel quite real. And now, here it is, fully in front of you, calling you into the next version of your life. So if your heart is racing, if your chest feels tight, if your skin is buzzing with something you can't explain, good, because it means something ancient inside you just woke up, and what happens next will change everything. There are two timelines playing out in your life right now. One, the version you've been living. Predictable, familiar, cyclical. It feels like progress, but keeps looping back to the same questions. The other, the version trying to break through. The one you feel in fleeting moments, when your tuition spikes, when reality bends for just a second, when the truth slips through the cracks of your ordinary day. This second timeline, it's not imaginary. It's trying to merge with your current experience. And the reason you're watching this video is because the merge has already begun. Your energy pulled this message into your field because it holds keys, quantum codes, frequency markers meant only for you. No one else watching this will receive it the same way, because this isn't about information, it's about activation. You were born with a signal, a blueprint, a unique vibrational fingerprint meant to guide you into your highest reality. But the noise of the world, the conditioning, the trauma, the distractions, it blurred that signal until you forgot how powerful you truly were. But not entirely. Somewhere deep beneath the surface, that signal never stopped broadcasting. It's been waiting for you to tune back in. In this video, this exact moment, it's a tuning fork. You're not being given something new. You're being reminded of something. It's ancient, that you are not lost. You are not late. You are not broken. You are in perfect position for a quantum leap, a shift so profound it will ripple into every area of your existence, your relationships, your health, your finances, your sense of identity, your connection to something greater. You may not be able to explain it yet, but something in your soul knows this moment was meant to happen because you're not who you were yesterday. And after this, you'll never be that version again. Let's keep going. The signal is getting stronger. You may think this moment is random, that you just happened to stumble across this video, but there's something else unfolding beneath the surface, a signal that has been quietly guiding you for longer than you realize. It's not loud. It doesn't shout over the noise of your daily life, but it's there, always pulsing beneath your distractions. And it's not new. It didn't just appear today. This signal was encoded into your being long before you could name it. A frequency buried deep within your awareness, something ancient, something familiar, and it's calling now, not for the first time, but because you're finally quiet enough to hear it. You see, there are certain moments in your life that don't make sense when they happen. Moments where everything feels chaotic, uncertain, disconnected. But those were the moments when the signal was still trying to reach you. You were too immersed in the noise of the world, the expectations, scrolling, the distractions, the survival mode. But this inner signalet doesn't operate on urgency. It operates on resonance. And now, for the first time in a long time, you're resonating with it again. That's why you're here. This isn't just a video. It's an intersection between the you who's been searching and the you who already knows. There's a version of you that never forgot. A version that's been waiting patiently. It's holding the thread through every twist and detour. This signal is not external. It's not in the words I'm saying. It's not even in the visuals on the screen. It's inside you. You're not hearing this for the first time. You're remembering it. Because the truth is, you've always felt there was something more. A subtle knowing that this life wasn't just about routines and responsibilities. That something deeper was guiding your path, even when it felt invisible. The signal never left. It's been embedded in your dreams, your gut feelings, your moments of awe. But now, it's rising to the surface. Now, you're listening with more than your ears. And that changes everything. Because once you hear it, too, can't go back to sleep. The moment you realize the signal was always there, you stop waiting for signs from the outside. You begin tuning in. You begin to trust yourself again. You remember that the compass has always been within you. And suddenly, path forward begins to unfold. Not because you forced it, but because you finally aligned with the frequency you were born with. You're not lost. You were never lost. You were just learning how to hear the signal again, and now you're ready to follow it because it never stopped calling. You just stopped running. Have you ever paused just for a second and really looked at your life? Not just the surface, not the checklist of what you have or haven't achieved, but the emotional texture of your reality, the feeling of your days, the rhythm of your relationships, the energy that follows you around like a shadow. Because whether you realize it or not, your current life is a mirror, not of the world, but of your beliefs, your expectations, and your internal signal. Every moment, every situation, every person needs reflecting back to you something you're emitting. It might be love, it might be fear, it might be I'm not ready, or it might be why does this always happen to me in the world? It simply agrees. This isn't punishment. This isn't karma in disguise. It's just the feedback loop of creation. Your outer world is responding to your inner broadcast. But here's the twist. People don't even know what they're broadcasting because the signal has been running unconsciously for years. It comes from early experiences, from childhood wounds, from stories repeated so often. Became invisible truths. You don't even hear them anymore, but your reality does. And that's why this moment matters. Because when you become aware that your life is mirroring you, you gain access to the source code. You're no longer just reacting to life you're reading. It's reflection. You're asking, what is this trying to show me about my internal state? Why does this pattern keep repeating? What belief is being mirrored right now? Shift from reacting to reflecting is one of the most powerful quantum upgrades you can make. Because once you see that mirror, you can stop blaming the reflection, start changing the source. And that's when the external begins to shift effortlessly. Relationships soften, opportunities find you, synchronicities multiply. Not because the world changed, but because you did. So look around, not with judgment, but with awareness. What is your current life showing you? Not to shame you, but to awaken you, because every reflection is a chance to remember the truth. You were never broken, only unaware. There's a choice you make every single day, but it's not the kind of choice, see? Not the kind you plan, not even the kind you're aware of that. Happens in the quiet moments when no one is watching, when the world isn't pulling on you, when there's no one to impress and no one to please. It's in those moments that your true choice rises to the surface, and that choice is what you allow yourself to believe. Do you believe this moment is random? Is that what's happening in your life is just a circumstance? That you were thrown here without direction? Or do you believe this moment is part of something deeper? That there's a current moving beneath your life, guiding you toward a timeline that's calling your name? The truth is, you are always choosing your reality, not with big, dramatic gestures, but with quiet alignments, tiny yeses and nos that ripple out across the quantum field every time you decide how to see yourself. That's a choice. Every time you label your situation as good or bad, it's a choice. Every time you react in fear or respond with presence, too, it's a choice. You're not trapped, you're not behind, but you might be stuck in a feedback loop of unconscious choosing. And that loop is built not from what you want, but from what you expect. Expect struggle, and you'll find it. Expect delay, and you'll live in it. Expect expansion, and the universe will open like a doorway. The question is never, why isn't my life changing? The real question is, what am I still choosing without realizing it? This isn't about blame. It's about awakening. Because the moment you start choosing with awareness, you shift from victim to creator, from reactor to conductor. You don't need to fight for control. You only need to see your invisible choices, because the quantum field is always responding, not to your effort, but to your alignment. And the next version of your life is waiting on the other side, one unseen, unspoken, powerful choice. You thought you made a new choice. You thought you broke the pattern, but the same emotions crept back and the same outcomes returned. And the same version of you showed up again, wearing a new face, but playing the same role. This is the trap of the invisible timeline loop. It's not about time. It's not even about decisions. It's about frequency. Each choice you make, each thought you repeat, is like tuning into a specific broadcast in the quantum field. And when that signal matches your familiar past, you don't step into a new future. You step into a new version of the same past, wrapped in different details, but vibrating with the same energy. You might change relationships, switch careers, move cities, but until the signal changes, the story remains the same. Because timelines are not defined by what you do. They're defined by who you are while you do it. That's the loop you didn't see, not the events, but the you that keeps showing up to live them. And here's what's even more powerful. You're not trapped by time. You're entranced by your own predictable pattern. It's like a quantum echo. It's bouncing back the signal you keep sending again and again. This is why the shift doesn't happen when you get new information. It happens when you become unrecognizable to your old self. It happens when the loop breaks, not because you forced it, but because you finally outgrew it. This moment, right now, was never just another step forward. It was a break in the timeline, and maybe for the first time, you saw it happening. Not out there, but within you. Time is not what you think it is. It's not a ticking clock on your wall. It's not the calendar marking your days. It's not even a straight line from past to future time. It's a mirror, a reflection of you, of your energy, your state, your signal. Everything you call time is filtered through your frequency of being. When you're anxious, overwhelmed, and resisting the moment, time feels like an enemy rushing past you, slipping through your fingers. When you're present, aligned, and in flow, time bends, it stretches, it expands. It feels like eternity compressed into a single breath. Why? Because time responds to your internal state. It doesn't move on its own. You move it. This is why two people can live through the exact same hour and have completely different experiences. One is bored and waiting for life to change. The other is lit up with purpose, watching seconds turn into miracles. Same 60 minutes, two different timelines, because energy bends, perception and perception creates your reality of time. But let's go deeper. Your energy field isn't just emotional or mental. It's quantum. It exists across dimensions. And the way you feel in this moment sends out a wave, an instruction into the quantum field of timelines. Every timeline you've ever dreamed of, every version of you you've imagined becoming, it already exists, not in some far-off future, but in a parallel vibrational space. And your energy is the key thought, either locks you into the loop of repeating yesterdays or unlocks access to the future you thought was impossible. When your energy matches the vibration of that higher timeline, the quantum field collapses around it. Reality reorganizes. Time reorganizes. And suddenly, it's the version of you that felt so far away is just here. But here's what no one tells you. The future doesn't arrive from outside. You don't chase it. You don't wait for it. You become it. You calibrate your antidote, the timeline that already holds your breakthrough. And then time starts working for you. You begin to meet the right people at the right moment. Ideas arrive without force. Doors open that logic can't explain. You feel as if time is bending around your tension, because it is. And when you finally let go of who you were, you realize time was never against you. It was just waiting for you to catch up to the frequency that always had the power to reshape everything. The power wasn't in the clock. It was in you. It always was. There are moments in life when everything changes, but not because of something you did on the outside. It happens because something within you shifted. You let go. You surrendered. You stopped trying to control the outcome, and suddenly, everything aligned. That's what collapses timelines. Timeline collapse isn't about force. It's not about manifesting harder, visualizing longer, or taking endless action. It's about alignment, pure internal coherence. When your energy, your emotion, and your belief come into full resonance with a possibility, that possibility becomes your present. And the timelines that were filled with doubt, resistance, and fear, they dissolve instantly, not because they weren't real, but because they're no longer relevant to who you've become. Let's break it down. There are infinite timelines, each one shaped by a different version of you. A version of you who doubted, a version who hesitated, a version who said maybe later, and a version who chose now. When you step into the frequency of your future, not by hoping, but by embodying it, time folds. The distance between where you are and where you want to be disappears. That's why some people seem to quantum leap. It's not luck, it's energetic, it's precision. Here's the paradox. You can't fake alignment. You can't trick the quantum field. You must become the version of you that belongs to the timeline you desire, not someday. Now, you will speak differently, feel differently, respond differently, because when you do, the universe recognizes your signal as stable, clear, and real, and it rearranges reality to match. This is why breakthroughs often come after surrender, after letting go of control, after saying, I don't know how, but I trust it's already done. It's that emotional frequency. That trust is a collapse trigger. You don't collapse timelines by effort. You collapse them by alignment, by resonance, by truth. So ask yourself, what would the version of me living my desired timeline believe right now? How would they feel? Would they act when things don't go to plan? Then become that version. Not for show, not to trick reality, but because you are that version and you finally remember it. And the moment you do, the timeline you're waiting for becomes the life you're living. There's something you've been holding onto, a memory, a fear, a version of you that once felt safe. Even if you've told yourself, I'm done. Even if you've worked to move forward, subtle gravitational pull keeps drawing you back. It's not your weakness. It's not your lack of willpower. It's your energy. It's Nietzsche. Here's what that means. Your thoughts, emotions, memories. They don't just sit in your brain. They radiate a frequency, a pattern, a signal that echoes through the quantum field. When something significant happens, a heartbreak, betrayal, a moment of deep trauma, it imprints your field with a specific energetic vibration, and unless consciously shifted, that vibration becomes your home frequency, so even when it hurts. So you keep returning to it, to familiar pain, to predictable patterns, to people and situations that match that old echo. Why? Because the quantum field responds not to your desires, but to the frequency you're currently emitting. And your frequency is shaped by what you haven't fully released. So the real reason you couldn't let go is because part of you believed letting go meant losing a piece of your identity. Letting go isn't just an action, it's a collapse of an old, energetic structure. And collapse feels like death to the ego, but to your higher self, collapse is freedom. When you stop grasping at the old, you allow space for the new signal to be born. And that's when timelines shift, not when you force them, but when you become a frequency match for something beyond the loop. Letting go isn't rejection, it's quantum realignment. In the moment you truly release, emotionally, energetically, you stop being bound to the version of you who is still trying to fix what already expired. This is your invitation to let the old story end, to surrender the loop, and to step into the version of you that no longer clings to survival, but chooses creation. You didn't fail. You simply stayed too long in a reality that had already ended. Now, it's time to let go every thought you think, every emotion you feel. Every choice you make when no one is watching is sending out a signal, a broadcast from your internal world to the quantum field, declaring what version of reality you're aligned with. Here's the secret most people never hear. Your future isn't waiting for it. It's responding to you. It's not something you chase. It's something you tune into. Think of the quantum field. Get an infinite sea of potential realities, timelines that already exist, each one vibrating at a unique frequency. When you hold the frequency of peace, you align with reality, where peace becomes your lived experience. When you embody lack, fear, doubt, you collapse into timelines where those emotions are confirmed again and again. So, your timeline isn't built by what you want, it's built by what you signal. Every time you say, "I'll never be enough," "This always happens to me," "I'm not ready," the field doesn't judge, it doesn't filter, it simply echoes back that same signal in physical form. But here's the game changer. When you choose a new signal consistently, even before, the world reflects it to shift timelines, not instantly, but inevitably. The key is coherence. When your thoughts, feelings, and actions all align with the version of you who already lives the future you. Sire, you don't wait for proof. You become the proof. This isn't fake positivity. This is frequency mastery. When your signal stabilizes, reality has no choice but to rearrange itself around your new vibration. You start noticing different synchronicities, new people, unexpected doors opening, old blocks disappearing like smoke, because the field isn't stubborn, it's immediate, but only when you are consistent. So if you want to build your future timeline, don't just visualize it, broadcast it, speak it, feel it, live it. Now, your frequency is the blueprint, and your future is listening. There is a moment. Quiet, unassuming, almost invisible. It doesn't arrive with fireworks or applause. It doesn't need an audience. But when it comes, your entire life rearranges. This moment is when you finally choose. Not from fear, not from lack, not because you're tired of waiting, but because you're no longer waiting at all. You're not waiting for a sign, for permission, for proof that it will work. You're not waiting for the timeline to unfold. You've become the timeline itself. This is what the quantum field has been waiting for. A version of you who finally stops asking and starts becoming Underscore. Underscore. The field doesn't respond to your doubts. It doesn't speak the language of delay. It only ever mirrors your energetic conviction. So if you feel uncertain, it reflects that. If you keep testing reality for confirmation, you stay in a loop of testing, never creating. But the moment you decide fully, internally, I am already it. I am already there. I am already who I was searching for. The field obeys. The timelines collapse. The delay dissolves because the signal is now clear. Underscore. Underscore. You weren't waiting on the universe. You were waiting on your own Redenesto. Meet the signal that has always been yours. You've always had the power to choose the version of you that time, space, and energy must respond to. And now the field is listening. So don't wait. Don't. Ask. Just align. Declare it. Become it. And reality will never be the same again.